the medical examiner's office have you conducted autopsies?
I have.
Approximately how many?
Over 2,000.
And have you testified in courts in the Commonwealth about these autopsies?
I have.
Can you explain to the jurors what is an autopsy?
Yes. An autopsy is a tool by which we examine the whole body in an effort to determine cause of death. And it's comprised of two parts: an external examination, where we look for identifying characteristics such as height and weight, evidence of medical therapy, and evidence of trauma and disease. We may take evidence as appropriate, and then we turn to the internal examination, making surgical-like incisions and examining each of the internal organs, again looking for evidence of trauma and disease, and taking additional samples for other tests such as toxicology.
Now I want to direct your attention to January 29th, 2023. Did you perform an autopsy on Callan Patrick Clancy?
I did.
And when you performed this autopsy, did you follow the procedure you just described, where you did an external examination and then an internal examination?
Yes.
And can you tell us what your initial observations were of Callan when you started the external examination?
Yes. So Callan had some therapeutic procedures in place, or therapeutic equipment in place, including a thermometer in the left nostril, a nasogastric tube in the right, an endotracheal tube down the throat, a Foley catheter draining urine, intravascular catheters in the right hand and right wrist, and an intravascular catheter in the left foot. There was some adhesive residue, possibly from other therapeutic procedures, as well on his chest. And there are additional needle marks that I saw on his body. In general, should I keep going? Or?
Well, what were your general observations?
In general, he was, we measured him at 26 inches long and 24 pounds. He had general edema, and those are the general.
So when you were talking about therapeutic things, are those things that were done by a medical provider at a hospital or some such setting?
Correct.
Okay. And what do you mean when you say he had general edema?
It means that he had his whole body had more fluid than one would expect in a person, or an 8-month-old who had not been in the hospital. It's very common for someone coming from the hospital to have had been given fluids such that they have excess fluid and swelling.
Did you make observations of any injuries or trauma to Callan?
Yes.
Okay. If we could have photo 9960.
Hold on, so let me just, members of the jury, I just want to give you, kind of revisit that instruction that I talked to you last week about. If you may remember, we talked about before they played that tape, all right? I just want to remind you that sometimes evidence is presented in the trial that creates emotional reactions. But as jurors who've taken an oath to follow the law, I'm instructing you, as I did last week, you must separate any emotional reaction on your part from the informational value and the weight from the evidence. You must not be influenced in any way by the unpleasant nature of the photographs and testimony that you're going to hear this morning or throughout the whole trial as well. So you must find the facts in this case based only on the evidence. But you can't find those facts or base those facts on sympathy, anger, passion, prejudice, or pity against either side. So I appreciate that. I just kind of wanted to remind you of that. And with that, come on.
Thank you, Your Honor. So photo 9960. Is that on the screen, Doctor?
Not yet. Yes. Thank you.
If you could just describe for us what we're seeing here in this photo.
So this is a photograph of Callan at the time of autopsy, and I'm showing a ruler underneath his neck, where above which you can see abrasions, and you can also see some needle marks that I mentioned from therapeutic procedures on his arm.
I'm sorry, if you could use the tool, pressing the top button there, just to highlight the area you're talking about, the abrasions on the neck.
Right here on his right side of his neck, and then in the middle of the neck, and on the left side of the neck.
And if we could now have photograph 663. If you could tell us what we're seeing here in this photograph, Doctor.
This is another photograph showing a bit more closely, again, the abrasions of the neck. There's one on the front of the neck, the shorter one that's about ½ an inch long by 1/16 inch. For those more familiar with the metric system, a centimeter is 2.5 centimeters is about an inch. A 1/16 of an inch is about 1.5 millimeters. So this is ½ an inch by 1/16 inch. And then on the right here, this is about 1.5 inches by a 1/16 inch.
And then showing 9952.
May I go back to that for 1 second?
Go back.
For one.
Could we go back to that photo, please? 9960. I'm sorry, 663.
I just want to point out between the ruler and the abrasions, you can see a paler line. That's a normal infant neck fold. That's not a injury.
Thank you. And 9952, please. If you could just point out for us here the injuries of significance to you.
Here, sorry, I think I did that.
We could go back to the prior photo, please.
I got it.
It's the top button.
Yep. Okay, so these again are the abrasions on the left side of his neck, and there's the one on the front of his neck. In addition, on the left side of his forehead is a 3/16 inch by 1/16 inch abrasion, and I think you can also begin to see petechial hemorrhages, which are dot-like hemorrhages underneath the skin on the face.
And what are petechial hemorrhages?
Petechial hemorrhages occur when there is rupture of the small blood vessels underneath the skin surface, and they are from an overpressure of the small blood vessels such as capillaries or venules, and blood escapes out and makes a dot-like hemorrhage.
We could have photo 9954. If you could explain for us what we're seeing in this photograph, please.
In this photograph is Callan's right side, also showing the back of his neck. So that abrasion that could be seen in the first photo showing the front of his neck, that abrasion continues along about 3 inches in all toward the right posterior or back of the neck.
And if we could have photo 9955, please. Is this a close-up photograph of what you just described?
Yes, I can show that right here.
Thank you. Could we have photo 636, please? And if you could describe for us what you see here in this photo, Doctor.
First the abrasion is in poor focus, but it's in the picture on the left side of the photograph, and then the most in the photograph, one can see those petechial hemorrhages better along the cheek, on the eyelid, all of those.
We can have photo 654, please. Can you describe what we're seeing in this photograph, doctor?
Yes, this is an abrasion near the hairline on the right side of the forehead, and that is up here. That is about 3/8 by 1/8 inch.
And then photo 656, please. Can you describe what we're seeing in this photo here, doctor?
This is looking at the top of Callan's head, and on the top right part of his head, toward the front, near the forehead, is a 1/8 by 1/16 inch abrasion.
And then photo 657, please. You can describe what we're seeing here, doctor?
This is the abrasion on the left side of his forehead with a ruler this time. In addition, the petechiae are also in pretty good focus on this.
And then photograph 9916. If you can describe for us what we're seeing in this photograph, please.
So these are some of the, I forgot to mention at the very beginning, there's a intravascular catheter in the right groin. This is Callan before we took off his medical therapy, and it shows some of the needle marks that he had. So on this is his right lower extremity. This is a look of an intraosseous catheter attempt with a central puncture mark and a round abrasion around it. And then here's the right groin line and the left foot line.
And if we could have photograph 9917. Are we seeing the same thing here on the left leg, those same IO attempt marks?
Exactly, yes.
Thank you. Doctor, are you able to date the wounds to the head, the abrasions and marks on the head? Are you able to say when those got there or how long they'd been there?
I can't precisely, but they have signs of healing in the form of scabbing.
And would that indicate that they weren't fresh wounds that happened the day you saw him or the day prior?
Correct.
In terms of the marks around Callan's neck and the petechiae around his eyes and face, did that give you an indication here of the mechanism of death for Callan?
Yes.
And how so?
It is consistent with a ligature strangulation, given that the abrasions are linear around his neck and there are petechial hemorrhages above those lines of abrasion.
And how is it that when someone is strangled with the ligature, that causes petechiae in the face and eyes?
So what happens is that the blood vessels that supply blood to the neck are compressed. And so there are jugular veins, which are a lower pressure system, and carotid arteries, which are a somewhat higher pressure system. And so as the vessels are compressed, if there is a backup of blood in the head, there can be an increased pressure in those small blood vessels that I mentioned, and they can rupture, causing the petechiae.
But basically, is it similar to a balloon filling up, but it's not air, it's blood and pressure in the face?
Yes.
And so when that pressure gets too great, is it that the capillaries are basically bursting and causing those little red marks?
Yes. Most texts say capillaries, some say venules, the small blood vessels.
And how is it that this process, the strangulation by ligature, causes death physically? How does it physically happen?
So the blockage of blood, either both to and from the head or just from the head, will cause a lack of oxygen to arrive at the brain, and there can be an element of airway compression as well, such that the lungs can't oxygenate properly. So that lack of oxygen is what causes the brain to die and the organs to fail.
And based on your examination of Callan, did you come to a determination based on your training and experience to a reasonable degree of medical certainty as to the cause of his death?
Yes.
And what was that?
Complications of mechanical asphyxia.
And why is it complications of mechanical asphyxia instead of just the asphyxia itself?
Because he was resuscitated, and so his heart began to beat again. So from the 24th to the 27th, there was a continuation of support of his organs to in the hospital. And so if he had a stopped heart at the scene, and in that case I would have just said mechanical asphyxia, but since there was a 3-day hospital stay, I said complications of mechanical asphyxia.
So the word complications doesn't mean that something happened at the hospital to cause his death. It's just that the strangulation caused his death, but he didn't die for a few days.
Correct.
Commonwealth would move to submit the autopsy photos as the next exhibit.
Same objection. They may be admitted.
Commonwealth would move to submit the death certificate of Callan Clancy as the next exhibit.
That may be admitted.
I have nothing further.
Counsel? All right. You may step down, Doctor.
Thank you.
All right, Counsel, can I see just briefly? Short break at this time. Couple of minutes, okay?
Court, all rise. Sure, so we can close the notebooks. Where's the more chairs?
All right, this court will be in recess.
And are you a medical examiner?
I am.
How long have you done that?
20 years.
Can you describe for us your educational background?
Yes, 4 years of college at Wellesley College in Wellesley, Massachusetts, 4 years of medical school at the Chicago Medical School in North Chicago, Illinois, 4 years of residency training in anatomic and clinical pathology, which is hospital-based pathology at the Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston, Massachusetts, and 1 year of fellowship training in forensic pathology at the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner, which is where I now work.
And throughout that 20 years at the medical examiner's office, have you conducted autopsies?
I have.
Approximately how many?
Over 2,000.
And have you testified in courts in the Commonwealth about these autopsies?
I have.
Can you explain to the jurors what is an autopsy?
Yes. An autopsy is a tool by which we examine the whole body in an effort to determine cause of death. And it's comprised of two parts: an external examination, where we look for identifying characteristics such as height and weight, evidence of medical therapy, and evidence of trauma and disease. We may take evidence as appropriate, and then we turn to the internal examination, making surgical-like incisions and examining each of the internal organs, again looking for evidence of trauma and disease, and taking additional samples for other tests such as toxicology.
And I want to direct your attention to January 29th, 2023. Did you perform an autopsy on Callan Patrick Clancy?
I did.
And when you performed this autopsy, did you follow the procedure you just described, where you did an external examination and then an internal examination?
Yes.
And can you tell us what your initial observations were of Callan when you started the external examination?
Yes. So Callan had some therapeutic procedures in place, or therapeutic equipment in place, including a thermometer in the left nostril, a nasogastric tube in the right, an endotracheal tube down the throat, a Foley catheter draining urine, intravascular catheters in the right hand and right wrist, and an intravascular catheter in the left foot. There was some adhesive residue, possibly from other therapeutic procedures, as well on his chest. And there are additional needle marks that I saw on his body. In general, should I keep going? Or?
Well, what were your general observations?
In general, he was, we measured him at 26 inches long and 24 pounds. He had general edema, and those are the general.
So when you were talking about therapeutic things, are those things that were done by a medical provider at a hospital or some such setting?
Correct.
Okay. And what do you mean when you say he had general edema?
It means that he had his whole body had more fluid than one would expect in a person, or an 8-month-old who had not been in the hospital. It's very common for someone coming from the hospital to have had been given fluids such that they have excess fluid and swelling.
Did you make observations of any injuries or trauma to Callan?
Yes.
Okay. If we could have photo 9960.
Hold on, so let me just, members of the jury, I just want to give you, kind of revisit that instruction that I talked to you last week about. If you may remember, we talked about before they played that tape, all right? I just want to remind you that sometimes evidence is presented in the trial that creates emotional reactions. But as jurors who've taken an oath to follow the law, I'm instructing you, as I did last week, you must separate any emotional reaction on your part from the informational value and the weight from the evidence. You must not be influenced in any way by the unpleasant nature of the photographs and testimony that you're going to hear this morning or throughout the whole trial as well. So you must find the facts in this case based only on the evidence. But you can't find those facts or base those facts on sympathy, anger, passion, prejudice, or pity against either side. So I appreciate that. I just kind of wanted to remind you of that. And with that, come on.
Thank you, Your Honor. So photo 9960. Is that on the screen, Doctor?
Not yet. Yes. Okay, thank you.
If you could just describe for us what we're seeing here in this photo.
So this is a photograph of Callan at the time of autopsy, and I'm showing a ruler underneath his neck, where above which you can see abrasions, and you can also see some needle marks that I mentioned from therapeutic procedures on his arm.
I'm sorry, if you could use the tool, pressing the talk button there, just to highlight the area you're talking about, the abrasions on the neck.
Right here on his right side of his neck, and then in the middle of the neck, and on the left side of the neck.
And if we could now have photograph 663. If you could tell us what we're seeing here in this photograph, Doctor.
This is another photograph showing a bit more closely, again, the abrasions of the neck.
Just briefly describe for us your educational and training background that enables you to be a pediatrician.
Yes, I completed medical school at UConn and then did my pediatrics residency at Mass General.
And when you were working at the South Shore practice in 2023, were you assigned as a pediatrician for the Clancy family?
Yes.
And how long had you been their pediatrician?
I'm sorry, how long had can you repeat that question?
How long had you been the family pediatrician for the Clancys?
I believe I started seeing them around 2019.
And in the practice that you were in at that time, was it just yourself or were there other doctors and nurse practitioners and staff that would treat and see patients?
It was a somewhat large group.
And so would you always be the one treating the Clancy children, or would some of your associates sometimes see the children?
I did all the checkups, but if there was a sickness and I wasn't there that day, they would be seen by another provider.
And by checkup, are you referring to a physical or well visit?
Yes.
And then if, for example, one of the children were ill and the family called to make an appointment, they would see who's available?
Yes, they would always check my schedule first, but often have to see someone else.
And would you have access to their records as their lead pediatrician to review if they came in for a sick visit or something like that to keep yourself updated?
Yeah, often at the time of the checkup is when we will go back and see what visits they've had since the last time we saw them.
This time I've moved to submit the pediatric records from South Shore Medical Center for Cora, Dawson, and Clancy.
Any objection? That may be admitted.
If we could focus for a moment on Callan Clancy. He was born in May of 2022, correct?
That sounds right, yes.
And you were his pediatrician from the time he was born?
Yes.
While you were his pediatrician, did his mother, Lindsay Clancy, ever talk to you about Callan having issues taking a bottle?
Not that I can remember.
Was there anything out of the ordinary health-wise with Callan?
No.
Was there any issues, or were there any issues with him meeting his milestones?
No.
What about Dawson Clancy? Did he have any health issues or concerns that you were aware of?
If I recall correctly from the notes, I think just a peanut allergy, if I remember, but otherwise he was healthy.
And Cora Clancy, did she have any medical issues?
I think asthma, that was pretty well controlled, but she was also healthy.
Now, in your role as a pediatrician, are you aware of postpartum issues, and are there certain things that you look for in new moms when you're treating babies?
Yes, we're certainly aware of it, and we try to look for any kind of outward signs at some of the initial newborn visits. Do you want me to elaborate?
Yes, please.
So, for example, things we might look for would be if a mom is kind of has a flat affect, or not really making eye contact, or tearful, or having trouble bonding with the baby.
And if there are those issues that you see, do you document them in the medical records?
Yes.
And what do you do in terms of treatment or care when you see those things?
Yes. So since we're obviously caring for the child, we are not really able to diagnose or manage anything for the mom, but we do try to connect her with resources, whether Massachusetts has some postpartum resources, or often we'll refer to have her try to contact her OB.
When you were interacting with Lindsay Clancy, when you were treating her 3 children, did you ever see the need to refer her for any of those services?
No.
And did you ever see any of those visible signs that you talked about, the flat affect or anything like that, when you were interacting with her?
I don't remember anything like that, no.
Now, I want to ask you about some of the things that are in the medical record that the jurors will see, so that you can just kind of explain what they'll be looking at. Showing you a record here from January 18th, 2023. Issues with the brightness, I'll just bring it to you. You just look that over, and is that consistent with the medical records from your practice?
Yes.
And so, for example, with this visit, Callan Clancy, 7-month-old male, here with mom for bilateral ear pulling and fussiness. So is that typical in the medical records, where you'll document the patient being seen, the age, who they're there with, and what the issue is?
Yes.
Okay. And how do you get a history, say when a kid comes in and they're sick, how do you get the history of their symptoms and what's going on with them?
So we usually do a brief review in the chart just to know what their anything on their so-called problem list for medical conditions, and then in the room we ask the parent the story. In pediatrics, usually we have to rely on a guardian.
Especially when it's like a 7-month-old who can't speak for themselves. So it would be whichever parent or person is there giving you their concerns and the symptoms, and communicating with about what's going on.
Yes.
And if there were any issues with communicating with the parent present, would that be documented in the medical records?
Yes.
And you saw Cora Clancy on January 24th, 2023 for a physical, correct?
Yes.
And as you stated earlier, prior to seeing her for the physical, did you look over her chart to see if she had been in recently with any illnesses or anything like that?
Yes, I would have done that.
And so would you have seen this note when her mother brought her in on December 27th, 2022, with some vomiting and sore throat?
Yes.
And again, if there had been concerns at that appointment, they would have been noted in the record?
Yes.
And then as the pediatrician, if you'd seen some concerns, would you have addressed them with the parent?
Yes.
And that didn't happen on January 24th, correct?
Correct.
And speaking specifically to January 24th, 2023, That was Cora's 5-year physical, is that right?
Yes.
And sometimes in the record, it's called a well visit.
Yes.
And what were your observations of Cora that day?
As far as I can recall, it was a very normal visit. Cora seemed to be behaving normally. I mean, no kid's happy to be there for a checkup, but I didn't notice anything out of the norm. She seemed perfectly well behaved, and Mom seemed appropriate as well.
Mom seemed appropriate?
Yes.
Did you notice anything out of the ordinary about Lindsay Clancy's demeanor or behavior or interaction with you?
No.
Was she able to give you a history of how Cora was doing and what milestones she was meeting?
Yes.
Was she able to answer your questions?
Yes.
Did you have any trouble understanding her at any point?
No.
Did she seem to have any trouble understanding you?
No.
Did she have, visible tears or a flat affect or anything like that?
No.
Did you have a discussion with Lindsay Clancy about Cora having some stomach aches?
Yes.
And what was your evaluation of that and your recommendation?
So we talked about the belly pain she was having. From what I could tell, I thought constipation might be possible. It's something we see a lot in kids. So I had suggested we try Miralax, which is a common stool softener we use, and wanted her to see me within 2 weeks if Cora wasn't feeling better.
Okay. And when you recommended the Miralax, was Lindsay Clancy receptive to that?
Yes, I believe so.
I have no further questions. Thank you.
Attorney Reddington.
Morning.
Good morning.
What's the time frame that you dealt with the Clancy children? Because you took care of all three of them, right?
All three.
Right.
Yeah. Cora, I believe, was around 9 months old. So I want to say that I saw them from about 2019 until 2013.
And when you would see the children, who would bring the children to see you for the checkups? Was it Lindsay, or was it Lindsay and Patrick, or was it?
I think that Lindsay and Patrick came together for one of Cora's checkups, but as far as I can remember, every other visit was always Lindsay.
And being an experienced pediatrician and being very protective of your patients, little kids, you're always looking to see if there's anything out of the ordinary, bruising, anything indicative of any type of psychiatric problems they may have, stunted growth or anything. Is that correct?
Yes.
You're always on the lookout for anything else, even if it's not mentioned to you, right?
Right.
Did you ever notice anything like that on the Clancy kids?
No.
Did they seem healthy?
Yes.
Did they seem happy?
Yes.
And in all the times that you would see Lindsay with the kids at your office, did she appear to be a doting or concerned mother for the children?
Yes, she did.
One of the questions that the DA had asked you is whether or not you're familiar with postpartum depression, postpartum psychosis, things of that nature. Would you agree with me, in your experience, extensive as it is, that a person can be suffering from postpartum depression and/or postpartum psychosis and still talk?
I'm not sure I have enough expertise to explain to answer that well.
That's fine. That's fine. Thank you.
Yeah.
Was Lindsay the type of person, to your observation and your treatment of her, that she was kind of like, was she like a complainer? Would she complain to you about the kids being a pain in the neck and that she was aggravated with the children or anything like that?
Not that I remember, no.
In all of the times that you had seen her, let's focus, say, on the year of 2022 up through 2023, January 24th, when you saw the children, I'm sorry, Cora, I believe it was, last. Counsel had asked you whether or not you made any observations that you would have noted if she appeared to be suffering from any symptomology of postpartum. Do you recall her asking you that?
Yes.
And in your treatment of the children and in your observations of Lindsay, did you know, or did she indicate to you, or did Patrick indicate to you, or anybody indicate to you, that in October of 2022, she was seeing a psychiatrist?
No.
Do you know Dr. Tufts?
No.
Did you know that after seeing Dr. Tufts that she was placed on a selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor, SSRI, Zoloft?
No, I didn't know that.
And again, this is, you're the pediatrician. It's not your job to pry. I mean, if you see something, you would make note of it and try to help them out. But I mean, if they don't tell you, you don't know, right? Did you know, fair to say that you didn't know that she was then seeing a Dr. Paul, and then Paul left the practice and nurse practitioner Gelada?
I didn't know that.
Okay. Do you know them?
No.
The only reason why I ask if you know them is that South Shore Medical Center, is that affiliated with South Shore Hospital?
I believe it was already owned by the hospital at that time.
Okay. Latasha Dukes, nothing about her?
No.
Any medications? Did you know about her being on any medications?
No, I didn't.
She didn't complain to you and say that she had insomnia and that she was unable to sleep or having difficulty like that?
Not that I can remember.
Did you know that she called the suicide hotline twice towards the end of December?
Overruled.
I did not know that.
Okay. Did you know that she had been to Mass General Hospital and then ultimately on New Year's of 2022 into 2023 self-admitted to McLean Mental Institution?
I didn't know that.
So when you saw her on January 24th, you did not know that she had been to McLean Hospital and had been on medications or anything, right?
That's correct.
Because again, she wasn't a complainer.
Correct.
She was a hell of a mother, wasn't she?
I always thought she was a good mom.
Thank you.
Redirect?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.
I'm going to call Susan Freon.
Morning. Morning. All right. I'm going to ask you to keep your voice up and speak into that microphone. All right. Attorney Sprague, please.
Thank you. Can you please state and spell your name for the record?
Susan Freone, S-A-N-F-R-A-O-N-E,
And your date of birth?
11/26/82.
Where do you work?
Learning Sprouts,
And how long have you been working at Learning Sprouts?
almost 6 years.
What is Learning Sprouts?
Preschool daycare,
What age range of kids attend Learning Sprouts?
15 months to about 5 years.
And what age range do you teach?
The about 3-year-olds to 4-year-olds.
And back in January of 2023, what age range were you focused on
The
teaching?
3-year-old, 4-year-olds.
Was Dawson Clancy in your classroom?
Yes.
When did he start in your classroom?
September of 22.
And did you know Cora Clancy as well?
Yes.
How did you know Cora?
Most of the teachers help out in all the classrooms, so we get to know all the children.
And did you teach Dawson from September of 2022 until you went on maternity leave later on in 2022?
Yes.
Do you remember what month that was in that you went on leave?
November.
Prior to going on leave, so from September to November of 2022, were there any issues with Dawson?
He started having harder drop-offs around mid-October, I would say.
Is that typical for that age, or is that something unusual?
Sometimes, yes. It was a little not typical for Dawson.
So prior to that, he was found at drop-offs, and then sometime in October, drop-offs became a little harder for him.
Yes.
And did that resolve over time?
Sometimes he would have better drop-offs, other times. But then I went on leave, so.
And after you went on leave, sometime after Thanksgiving of 2022, did you see Lindsay Clancy, Dawson's mother?
Don't really remember. I think I did.
Do you recall having a conversation with Lindsay where she asked you how your baby was and how you were doing?
Yes, we did have a conversation at some point because I was still bringing my oldest daughter to school every day.
Okay. And so you had your child in November, and then this conversation is sometime either around or after Thanksgiving?
Yes.
And when you had this conversation and interaction with Lindsay Clancy, was that at the school?
Yes.
And how was her demeanor?
Fine.
Was it any different than any other time you had seen her?
No.
Did she appear to understand you?
Yes.
Did you have any trouble understanding her?
No.
Did you have any concerns about her at that time?
No.
Was that the last time you saw her?
Yes.
And you're a mandated reporter, correct?
Yes.
So if you had seen anything about Dawson's behavior or about the parents' behavior at any point that caused you concern, you would have had to report that, correct?
Yes.
And at no time did you make any reports about the family or the children or the parents?
No.
When you had that conversation with Lindsay Clancy sometime in November of 2022, did she ever say anything about insomnia or not feeling well or being depressed or anything like that?
No.
Thank you.
Cross.
Morning.
So how long did you, in your capacity as a teacher at Learning Sprouts, know the Clancys?
I started at Learning Sprouts in November of 2020, and Cora was in preschool at the time.
Okay. So you obviously saw the kids on a fairly regular basis.
Yes.
And forgive me, what is a drop-off? What does that mean? I'm sorry.
When the parents drop the children off at school.
Okay, and when district attorney asks you were there difficult drop-offs, what does that mean?
Sometimes when parents drop the children off, they'll be a little clingy or they cry. Excuse me.
Okay.
Or they cry.
And that would be the child would cry, maybe the
Yes.
parent either, I don't know, but
Times.
so did they have difficult drop-offs on occasion, I guess, that Dawson
Yes.
would cry?
Yes.
How would Lindsay react? Was she okay? Did she seem concerned as a parent?
I wasn't seeing as much of Lindsay. I was seeing more of Patrick.
Okay. And Dawson appeared to be healthy and happy and engaged,
Yes.
as well as Cora?
Yes.
Thank you.
Nothing further.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Please sit down. Thank you.
The Commonwealth would call Susan Bertolo as a next witness, please.
Watch your stuff, please. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, I'm going to ask you to speak into that microphone.
Okay.
All right? And keep your voice up so everybody can hear you.
Okay.
All right. Come on.
Thank you. Good morning. Could you please tell the jurors your first and last name?
Susan Bertolo.
And if you could just speak as loud as you can into that microphone, okay?
Yep.
Can you spell your last name for the record?
Bertollo,
And what city or town do you live in?
Plymouth, Massachusetts.
And where do you work?
Leaping Frogs Preschool.
Prior to working at Leaping Frogs, did you work at another preschool?
Yes.
Where was that?
Learning Sprouts in Duxbury.
And how long had you been with Learning Sprouts?
4 years.
Did you teach a particular age group at that preschool?
Yes, I taught the older preschool group.
Okay, and at Learning Sprouts, are the classes kind of divided up in some way?
They're divided by age, toddlers, younger preschool, older preschool.
And is there a particular label to the rooms that they're in? Are they referred to in a particular way?
Yes, we were sunflowers.
So your group, the 3 to 5 year olds, is the Sunflower group?
Yes.
And can you tell us a little bit about how the day is broken up for kids in the Sunflower group?
Sure. So some children came in early at 8, and then the rest of the kids came in at 9:15. And then some were half day and some were full day.
And as far as, excuse me, your role with the kids in the Sunflower room, you primarily interacted with them in the mornings, correct?
Correct.
And when the kids get dropped off, is it fair to say the bulk of the kids get dropped off around 9?
Yes.
And does that happen kind of like in a way